medication before, but now she cannot afford it. So she only leaves it to emergency cases where he'll be hospitalized. Ali has very little. However, she has a lot of faith. She's still a strong believer and she has hope. Let's work together, where your donations will give a lot of hope to Ali, where she can provide for her young Ali, to have medication for him, ensure that these girls will have the right education, and ensure that she can provide for her mum, stay longer hours with her mum, which is physically disabled.
Make your impact today. Elevate the lives of your brothers and sisters. Donate now.
More than 3,000 members of the Shia Hazara community have been killed since September 2011, according to reports.
Hundreds of Iraqi pilgrims arrive at the house of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi.
On Saturday, the Saudi authorities executed 21 people on other charges.
Taliban abusing humanitarian aid in Afghanistan.
Shia Rights Watch expresses its condemnation on the targeted bombings in the Iraqi capital Baghdad.
There is so much happening that now is the right moment to bring together the biggest stories in one place at one time. It's ambitious, it's a first for the Shia around the world. Join me, Ayoub Nueno, for Shia Waves, live only on Imam Hussein TV free.
With more and more victims of war and poverty, the Middle East has seen a surge in patients seeking medical aid. Iraq alone has 2.4 million people without access to any form of medical assistance. In Afghanistan, due to the lack of funding and devastating conflict, the health service is at breaking point. Imam Hussein Charity aims to help provide a better future for these impoverished patients, aiding them with finances for their prescriptions as well as dialysis of their kidneys. You can help our brothers and sisters with purchases of prescriptions for just £20, and for £200 help a patient with a dialysis procedure. To donate or for more information, visit www.imamhusseincharity.com.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, and welcome to Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. Before we begin, we would like to wish all of you guys, the Muslim Ummah and also the Imam of our time, on a very, very happy Eid al-Adha, Eid Mubarak to you all, inshallah. You guys went to the Eid prayers this morning, you've been spending time with your family and so forth, enjoying meat as it is a Qurbani Eid. But we are here at Imam Hussein TV to continue answering your questions on Ahkam SOS. If you have a question you'd like to send in, please send it in via the WhatsApp. The number's there on the bottom. You can scan the QR code. Or if you're watching on Facebook Live or on YouTube, you can put your questions in the comment section. And inshallah, the technical team will send them to me on my iPad here. And joining me, as always, is Sheikh Ali Ma'a. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Eid Mubarak to you, Sheikhna.
To you as well. Asadallah yamakum.
Asadallah yamakum, Sheikhna. Sheikhna, before we begin, we obviously we were celebrating Eid and so forth, and you always give us some hadith, you give us some advice, some knowledge and so forth. In regards to this day, what have you got to tell the viewers?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. In the famous Salat al-Eid that we perform and recite the famous Qunut dua in this Salah, in both rak'ah, there's a part of the dua I would like to focus on when
So this is the famous long dua that's recited
in the
the Eid prayer.
Yes, every
9 times, I think, in
total. Yes.
Yeah, 5 in the first rak'ah, 4 in the
Exactly.
second.
So we say in the qunut in Salat al-Eid, وأن تدخلني في كل خير أدخلت فيه محمدا وآل محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. That to enter me into every goodness that you've entered Muhammad and his family. And we have to see what is every goodness, every khair, every blessing. You can imagine from the pure aqidah, the pure belief, the correct and accurate belief in the oneness of Allah Azza wa Jal, in Tawheedullah Azza wa Jal, in the Imamah of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, the Wilayah of Ahlul Bayt, and the Bara from their enemies, in the belief in the justice of Allah Azza wa Jal, all the way to belief in the hereafter and the Qiyamah. And then practicing the correct way in which the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his pure family prayed the correct salah of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, according to their grandfather sallallahu alaihi wasallam praise. And the same applies to Hajj and fasting and zakat and so forth. So to join the Holy Prophet and his pure family in every blessing, every goodness that they've enjoyed. This is very important dua that we have to reflect on when we recite and perform Salat al-Eid in our qunut. Then we say in the qunut, وَأَن تُخْرِجَنِي مِن كُلِّ سُوءٍ أَخْرَجْتُ مِنْهُ مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِ مُحَمَّدٍ. And to exit me from every evil that you've exited Muhammad and his pure family. Again, every sin, could be every filth, the wrong aqidah, all types of evil that you could imagine, that Allah Azza wa Jal initially purified Muhammad wa Muhammad, a thorough purification, according to Surah 33, Ayah 33. وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا, the famous Ayah Tathir, in which Allah Azza wa Jal purified them thorough purification. And this is a proof and evidence that Muhammad wa Muhammad sallallahu are infallible. And that's why he said, sallallahu alayhi wa, that he leaves two weighty things, the book of Allah, which is infallible, the Holy Quran, and his family, which are also infallible. And they cannot separate at all. Otherwise, if they separate, it means there's something wrong. They have to be always together till the point al-Kawthar, where we meet Rasulullah and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam on that great point. So, yes, it's a blessed day. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal for the blessings that He offered Muhammad wa Muhammad, and the refraining from the evils which He refrained Muhammad wa Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Now, just a quick reminder to the viewers that if you have a question you'd like to send in, please send it via the WhatsApp. The number's at the bottom. You can scan the QR code. If you're watching on Facebook Live, or you're watching on YouTube, you can put your questions in the comment section, and inshallah the technical team will send it to me on my iPad here. If you'd like to call in, 0203 515 0199 if you're in the UK. If you're outside the UK, just use the WhatsApp number below, and inshallah maybe you can wish us Eid Mubarak and have your question answered, inshallah. Sheikh, the first question I have from the viewers is from YouTube. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Do Ahl al-Kitab go to heaven?
You see, in overall, the one who follows the right path in terms of having the correct belief and aqidah, and implements and performs the Islamic rulings, worships, the correct transactions, of course that individual would be deserving to be in paradise. Now we have people in different categories. We have somebody who is qasir, who is ignorant, he doesn't or she doesn't know the truth, and they pass away in this way. And many people could be categorized in this ignorant or qasir, don't know the truth in overall. So they would be tested on their judgment, or in some cases Allah would Allah would forgive if He wishes, because they never received the correct message. And then you have, of course, as I've said before, and some would be judged in terms by giving them a second chance to be tested on the day of judgment. If they pass, they would go to heaven. This is not only for Ahl Kitab, for all creeds and religions and beliefs, and even unbelieving individuals. If they die as a qasir, ignorant, they will be tested in the judgment. If somebody is muqassar or jahid, somebody who knew the haqq, knew the truth, but still ignored it, because he didn't want to lose his wealth, his family. You know, those who revert, convert to Islam, face lots of difficulties. They would have separated from the families, something from the wife and the kids. So somebody who wishes to remain in this dunya and enjoying the dunya pleasures, of course, they be in difficulty, of course.
Wow. Next question from YouTube. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Can I eat the meat of the sheep I killed for qurbani?
I mean, in regards with the qurbani, I'm not sure, but usually if you have a aqiqah for your son or daughter, newly born, I mean, it's better not to eat and give it to the relatives and friends.
Yes.
For the qurbani, I haven't heard something that you can't eat.
I mean, Sheikhna, if it's, I guess this is to do with Eid al-Adha, qurbani,
yes,
which is normally given to the poor.
Yeah.
So you don't really eat it yourself, you give it out. But is there any issue if I was to eat it?
No, in terms of even for the aqiqah for your child, newly born child, or the qurbani on Adha, it's not forbidden or haram. You can consume both. But sometimes they would say, for this purpose, it's better not to eat, for example, for the child, for example, newborn child.
Fair. From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. French cut beard permissible. French is known as a goatee, Sheikhna, just this bit area here. Is that permissible? Is that okay? I think Sayyid Khouti, rahmatullah alayhi, I think he did allow. There was something in regards to having the chin covered with hair that was sufficient. However, I know a lot of our Marajas say no. Whatever your natural beard is, the way it grows, shape it the way you can and have that.
Yes, indeed, as you've said, we can say the majority would not allow it now. If there's one or two, we have to check, but otherwise, most of the ulama would not allow it, because the beard is part of the, the chin and the lower cheekbones. That's all part of the beard, because that's lihya is known as
the jaw.
Lihya, yeah, exactly. In Arabic, it's called liha. So that's part of the complete beard. As ihtiyat, at least.
Fair. From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna and brother. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Eid Mubarak to you. Eid Mubarak to yourself too. Is it permissible to fast in the month of Muharram?
So what we have in terms of fasting, the Ashura day, in which Bani Umayyah took it as a day of celebration and joy. Until today, they encourage people to fast the day of Ashura, and they emphasize on this. And that's, of course, a sign of joyfulness for killing Imam Hussein salamullah alayhi. What we have is to refrain from eating and drinking till afternoon, so till midday after Salatul Asr. Then you can have some water and dates and so forth. So don't overeat and it's just that, but it doesn't mean that you can. Fasting is makruh or discouraged on Ashura day. The rest is fine, but Ashura day is specifically is discouraged.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Can you please explain why Jesus is called Ruhullah and what this means or why it is called that? Thank you.
You see, we have in Arabic words Ruhullah, Baytullah, Aynullah, Yadullah, all these given. It doesn't mean that this individual, possesses some kind of God's spirit, na'udhu billah. Allah Azza wa Jal is not part of the creation. And there's a difference between the creation and the creator. And the Quran says, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, nothing is like him. So these are given as a form of to glorify, for example, the holy Kaaba, for example, where they attach it to Allah Azza wa Jal, Baytullah. Same thing, Isa alayhi salam, he was the word of Allah, Kalimatullah, Ruhullah, and so forth, attaching this to Allah to glorify that house or that individual. It doesn't mean that it's part of Allah or na'udhu billah. Allah resides there in that
Yeah.
house, na'udhu billah.
I see. More questions coming in. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam.
Can I travel to a city? This is from YouTube. Can I travel to a city that is famous for the naked beaches? Okay, so normally that's in the south of France, I think. Sheikh, we have in the west nudist beaches. Now the question says, can I visit a city that has nudist beaches? I'm sure there's no issue with visiting the city, but the nudist beach, can one actually go there?
You see, nowadays, if you walk in every European or Western country street, you'll find this, specifically in July and August, in summertime, you'll see something similar. I don't say completely, but you'll see something similar. What is important, the Quran mentions, وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze, their eyes. That's the piety, taqwa.
Yes.
Wherever you want to go, make sure that you observe taqwa. And don't go to places where you might fall into the act of haram. And forbid. If somebody says, I want to go to the nightclub, is it allowed? I'm not going to participate. You see, sometimes going into these places
Brings danger.
Brings danger, would be a trap for the devil. So one should avoid going to places where you might somehow, fall into the act of forbidden.
Prevention is the best cure, as the doctor says. A question coming in from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. What is the ruling on getting one's work done through bribery?
No, the bribery is haram and forbidden. In terms of receiving, giving, one should avoid bribery. Yeah, that's forbidden.
Here's more questions coming in from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I joined the Eid prayer in the first rak'ah when the Imam had already said 2 or 3 takbirs. At the time, I was not sure that this is the first rak'ah or second, so I made the niyyah and joined the prayer. Afterwards, when the prayer proceeded, I came to know that I joined the prayer in the first rak'ah, but I had missed about 2 takbirs, as in the qunut. Is the prayer correct or not?
I mean, what is important that you don't miss the Imam, because the idea of the Jama'ah is to follow the Imam, so you don't miss the Imam. So you keep with the Imam when he goes to the ruku' sujood and so forth.
Okay, another question here regarding Eid. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Salam.
If Eid falls on a Friday, do we pray the Eid prayer and also the Jummah prayer? Can we do both?
You see, in terms of the Eid prayer starts by the sunrise till noon. So one prays Salatul Eid. In terms of Salat Jum'ah or the hukum of the Jum'ah prayer, I'm not sure if there's a connection that if you pray this, that other one would be waived. Yes, in terms of the Friday prayer, if you pray it with the 2 sermons, the Dhuhr prayer would be waived. So you don't have to pray Dhuhr, for example. But for the Salat, I haven't seen anything.
Another question. Assalamu alaikum. This is a good one from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Eid Mubarak to you. I wanted to ask, is it wajib to give Eid to my younger siblings and cousins and so forth? And how much should I give?
No, these are, ala kulli hal, brings joy to the family and the kids and siblings. It's up to you how much you can. It depends on your income and how much you can give. Of course, the more, the better, of course, to make them happy.
This is actually a really good question. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I'm traveling to a different city to celebrate Eid with family. My prayers are obviously qasr, but can I pray the Eid prayer?
I mean, many people come to Karbala, for example, and pray Salat Eid from different cities, even from the worldwide. In terms of Salat Eid, you pray it wherever you go. I haven't seen somebody saying you shouldn't pray Eid prayer because you're Musafir. Musafir hukum is to shorten your prayers. If it's 4, you make it 2. That's the whole idea.
I see. Question here. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. It's from WhatsApp. Is it permissible for a wife to dance in front of her husband with music or without music?
Yes, without the music, of course. And they both can do so, but without music.
Okay. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Can I drink beer with 0% alcohol, which we can see in many Muslim countries?
What is important that it should have no alcohol contained, alcoholic substance, in other words, or intoxicating substance.
Yes.
That's the rule for avoiding drinking beer or alcohol or wine, which has, alcohol substance
Considerable
or
amount,
intoxicating. So we have to avoid that. So it depends really. If it's a free alcohol, definitely depends.
Fine. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Is it necessary for Muslims to have qurbani during the Eid?
No, as I've said before, the qurbani, these are all mustahab acts.
It's more for the Hajj ritual, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess those who couldn't perform Hajj or something wanted to do at least one ritual from where they are.
Yeah,
Just
and give it to the
give
poor.
it to the
of
poor,
course,
inshallah. From YouTube, this is interesting, quite ignorant but interesting. Is racism towards black people haram? I think racism in general towards any person of skin color or creed or genetics is haram. Sheikhna, racism in Islam, allowed, not allowed?
Yes, indeed. The Holy Prophet ﷺ came and he freed the slaves and he gave power to those who were from different non-Arabs, different ethnic origins, exactly different colors, and he said nobody has any betterness except with taqwa. If you have piety and taqwa, be it if you're a Bilal al-Habashi who was from African black origin, but he has more taqwa than Abu Sufyan, who was one of the leaders of Quraysh.
Yes.
And he was from the elite of the. But if he was a mushrik or if he was a munafiq, then he has no value in Islam.
I see. From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. My question is it allowed to travel during Muharram as the kids are on holiday? However, I've been recommended not to travel and it is better to stay in your home city for 12 days, it says.
No,
Traveling during Muharram, Sheikhna, famous speakers come all over the country. Sometimes people want to go and I want to go to a different city and visit that speaker, or this Mokib has a very, very good program which I want to attend, which is 2-3 hours away, so I'm going to stay over there and so forth. During Muharram and traveling to different majalis and different cities and so forth, is that okay? Was it recommended to stay in your hometown and participate in the majalis that are happening in your home?
I think change is good. In sometimes you need to have some kind of change. You want to see, let's say, the holy month of Ramadan in Karbala, for example, or Ashura in Karbala. I think it's a good opportunity for one, especially if it's a holiday time, to go and see the month of Ramadan, or Sha'baniya ziyarah, Nimay Sha'ban, or Rajab ziyarah, for example, or Muharram and Safar, Arba'ini, to be able to see just a bit of change, just at least once, let's say, in your lifetime, to go there and see. It's worth it, I think. Unless you have some other options or better options for lecturers and so forth. That, of course, would be the priority, of course.
From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. What is the right age to discuss about puberty of a boy? And does the father have to discuss, or can the mother also discuss? Thank you. So I guess this is more to do with the age of bulugh, and that, wajibat are to start, and also when a boy is becoming a man, the hormones kick in, the voice goes deeper, hair starts to grow. They start to grow what we call an affinity towards the opposite gender, and so forth. So when is the best time to actually sit down and to discuss this with a young boy or a young girl? And who should be doing it? Should it be the father, the mother, or both?
I mean, usually they start to talk to them when they're over 11, 12 years of age. Because nowadays, sometimes you see a 13 or 14 years old boy is actually has reached the age of bulugh and puberty. So you have to have at least 1 or 2 years before they reach that age of puberty, and you have to explain the ahkam shar'i rulings in terms of the wudu, the ghusl, wajib ghusl, in terms of the impurities, how they purify themselves when they go to the bathroom, and so forth. So yeah, it should start by the age of 10, 11, 12, roughly. And of course, anyone can say this to teach this, the the kids, be it the Maulana in your local mosque or one of the youths in the community, or even the parents, if they can, slowly. If they feel they're confident, sometimes one of the kids is more confident to talk to his mom or to his dad. It depends really, to see who is more comfortable and gets that confidence, who you can trust.
Inshallah. Sheikh, now we're going to go to a short break. Join us after the break as we continue our discussions here on Ahkam SOS. If you have a question you'd like to send in, now is the best time to send in your questions. We're going to go for a short break. But in the break, you can send your questions via the WhatsApp. The number's there below. You can scan the QR code. Or if you're watching on Facebook Live or you're watching on YouTube, you can put your questions in the comment section. And inshallah, we'll be able to discuss and answer this after a short break.
I have a question regarding... keeping pictures of scholars.
Is it permissible to plant trees by or
was
over
Islam
the
established based on peace and non-violence?
Is it permissible to collect donations for charity projects from
Is it permitted to consume canned food imported from non-Muslim countries?
Is there an issue for men looking at non-Muslim women?
To have your questions answered live, WhatsApp us on +44 7415 092155.
For those interested in an Islamic law book by Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Al-Shirazi, please WhatsApp the Ahkam SOS team at the following number to place your order today: +44 7415 092155. The Islamic law book, available exclusively in hard copy, contains religious questions answered by Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Al-Shirazi. Order your hard copy today.
Yes, and you can order your copy of the Islamic law book via the WhatsApp there. Just put in the details and tell us you're interested. Hopefully one of our team members will get back in contact with you and be able to organise a copy for yourself. You're watching Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. If you have a question you'd like to send in, please send it in via the WhatsApp. The number's there at the bottom. You can scan the QR code. If you're watching on Facebook Live or on YouTube, you can put your questions in the comment section, and inshallah, myself and the Sheikh will be able to answer your queries. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sheikh, I've got more questions coming in. This one is from YouTube. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Eid Mubarak to you. The most important question that I remembered is, you have time, inshallah, okay. One hadith in Al-Kafi that supposedly says the Quran is corrupted. I think it said that the Quran has 70,000 verses. Can you explain that whenever you are free? Okay, so someone saying that in Al-Kafi that the Quran has been corrupted and that there was more verses and so forth. How do we approach this hadith?
Well, initially, the brother or sister needs to send us the exact reference of the hadith in Arabic to see if such hadith exists in Kafi. And number two, I've read the Kafi, maybe most of it. I haven't seen such hadith that would talk about corruptive of the Quran and so forth, tahrif al-Quran and so forth. One should carefully look at the hadith and then judge with this regard.
From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Is shaving the beard okay in Muharram just to be sharp and clean? You
no, shaving haram.
You can shave your head if you want for tatbir, but the beard...
Yes, it's forbidden. Yeah.
Absolutely no way. From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Eid Mubarak to you. What's the perfect way to have a halal relationship?
As the Holy Quran mentioned, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا, that one of the Allah's signs that He made from yourselves as couples, from yourselves. In other words, marriage. وَأَنْكِحُ الْأَيَامَ أنصف والصالح من عبادكم يكونوا فقراء يغنيهم الله من فضله, that if they're poor, Allah would enrich them. So marriage is the best option to start your relationship. Don't start it in the wrong way, because you might end in the wrong way, and separation is very bad and difficult, and would break your hearts, both sides. So make sure that you do it correctly and in halal way, inshallah.
From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Is it permissible to work as salesman or cashier in the shops that sell pornographic magazines? Is it permissible to deal with these kinds of magazines? Is it permissible to print them?
Anything that would promote falsehood or corruption is not permissible. So one should avoid this kind of jobs in which would be one of the tools, let's say, or means to spread falsehood or even corruption.
From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Is it okay to say Eid Mubarak to my non-Muslim friends? Can I even buy them presents?
Yeah, why not? In terms of if you want to attract them towards Islam in this way, that would be a good excuse or reason for them to be attracted in this way. Why not?
Okay, good question here, Sheikhna, from YouTube. Assalamu alaikum. Can I buy a stolen car from the police auction because they couldn't find the owner? So, Sheikhna, I'm not sure if you're aware, but certain items that are involved in crimes or items that are like, for example, repossessed vehicles or repossessed items because the owners couldn't pay for them, or certain items that were involved in crimes but they couldn't find the original owners, so technically it belongs to the government or the state and they normally sell it on. Are we allowed to attend these auctions or these sales and purchase these items?
If this type of wealth or money or goods and products became as known in the fiqh, majhul al-malik, that the owner is unknown,
yes,
then you have to go back to your own marja and alim that you follow and ask permission from them. That's the only way you can and somehow deal with the issue.
Fair. Question here. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh, from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. A lot of my non-Muslim friends are wishing me Eid Mubarak. How do I respond to them?
You can say the same, or you can say thank you very much to you as well.
You get posters and pictures you can send now and stuff like that. So you don't have to say anything. Just send them, a nice little poster. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I know that for the end of Ramadan it is haram to fast on Eid, but can you fast on the day of Eid al-Adha? It's a good question, that.
Again, one of these 2 days in which you are not allowed, it's forbidden to fast, is Eid al-Adha as well. So today and Eid al-Fitr, you can't fast at all.
Fair. Question here. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. What is the best aqiq to wear? Thank you.
Aqiq al-Yamani is the famous one. There's a one, Sharaf al-Shams, I think. I mentioned once one of the benefits about poverty and so forth, you know, would repel poverty and so forth. Sharaf al-Shams, the yellow one. It depends which color you like to wear.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, there's someone sent in a question, and they're kind of rephrasing it, but basically they're saying, I am traveling after 12 days of Muharram for holiday to Dubai. Is it okay to travel, or will it be any disrespect to the Imam to travel, or should I avoid as kids are on holiday? Okay, so after, you could say the 22nd of Muharram, this person wants to go on holiday, the kids are off, he wants to take them out, but it is the month of Muharram. So is it okay for him to go on a holiday to go to a nice new location and enjoy himself, relax and so forth? Or should he remain in a state of grieving and shouldn't really take part in these joyful...
I mean, what is important that you don't show the celebration and joyfulness in these 2 months, till the end of Safar, after Arba'in. Let's say weddings, parties, and if you want to celebrate a birthday party, then don't show the joyfulness. Maybe you can just give some sweets to your kids and wish them the best, for example. Don't, show and, that kind of happiness that we show. Other than these days, don't show it in Muharram and Safar.
From YouTube, can I have intimacy before marriage?
It has to come, under the umbrella of nikah contracts. I don't know how
temporary
you
or
want
permanent
to phrase it, but it has to be under this contract, like the contract of, I don't know, when you want to sell or buy something. There's always contracts. You can't start a job, let's say in UK or in Europe, without a contract of employment. It means you're working, in the wrong way, illegal work, let's say. So if the non-Muslim world understands which one's legal and illegal, what about Allah Azza wa Jal, who is the musharra', who is the one legislated this, laws for the betterment and for the benefit of the humankind.
I see. Just a quick reminder to all the viewers that this is a live show. We do take in your questions. If you have any question you'd like to ask, please send it in via the WhatsApp. The number's there below. You can scan the QR code right there in the corner. If you're watching on Facebook Live or on YouTube, you can put your questions in the comment section, and inshallah the technical team will send them to me. If you want to call in, 0203 515 0199 if you're in the UK. And if you're outside the UK, just call the WhatsApp number and feel free to speak to us and ask your question. A question here from one of the viewers from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. In some non-Muslim countries, the corpse is placed in a coffin and then buried in the grave. What is our duty in such a situation? I know, Sheikhna, with Muslims, we don't really put a coffin in, do we, or a box. We kind of like make a tomb. We put stones, sometimes plaques and stuff. Sometimes they don't even do that. They just put the coffin in, wrap it up, and then start putting dirt on top. But if it's in a wooden box, is that okay? Place the wooden box in the grave, put on the earth and everything, and bury the body?
It seems to be some would allow it, some of the ulama would allow it, and I've seen some of the burials where they would insert that coffin inside the grave. Of course, you must make sure that the deceased is towards the Qibla, facing towards the Qibla, and all the requirements should be met as if he is or she is buried on the ground itself. So you have to observe all that requirements.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna, Eid Mubarak. Can you explain if the hadith is there where it says to be aware of black people, where it says beware of marrying the zunj, for they are an ugly creation?
Well, I've read another hadith that a man comes to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, I think, or Imam Baqir alayhi salam, one of the Imams, and he asks for somebody who is the type of strong, let's say, wives in terms for intimacy, because he has a great desire for the woman and so forth. So the Imam says, "Alayka bil sawda, go to the black one. It's better for you." So the Imam recommends him to go to marry an African woman.
Okay.
And even Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, many of them married African women.
Nubian women.
I mean, this is something, we have to see what does this zanj means. As I've said, we have to study the narrations word by word, separately each, and to see, number one, authenticity, the chain of narrators, how correct is the hadith. And then we have to understand what does zanj means, for example. Does it mean a group of those who are against Ahlul Bayt, for example, and so forth. We have to study, otherwise, this hadith recommended this man to go and get married to the dark-skinned woman.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. A lot of people who recite the Quran in a melody most of the time hold a letter, shadda, or length them simply for vocalization, even without the proper haraka on the letter. Is this allowed or wrong? This is not really an Islamic law question. This is a tajweed question, Sheikhna. But are you familiar with Quranic recitation and whether we're allowed to extend a shadda or so forth just for the melody rather than for the actual recitation?
I mean, in terms of the ahkam of the tajweed, one of course should respect these ahkam when he or she comes to recite and to recite them correctly. In salah, of course, if you can observe that, would be, of course, an advantage, especially you go for med and so I try to respect and observe these rulings, inshallah.
Question from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. If I've taken a loan from my company where I'm working and still not complete my installments, i.e. my loan is still not being paid and some balance is to be paid, is it permissible for me to perform Hajj? So can I perform Hajj when I still have a loan?
You see, istita'a is where you have the means, the money to be able to go to Hajj and come back without facing any difficulties in terms of daily matters for living. That's the important. Man istita'a alayhi sabila, the one who has istita'a, that's important. If you have the means, then istita'a becomes wajib on that individual.
Okay. Another question here is, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. if a person breaks his oath, what is the penalty? So is this like a qasam, I think, or another?
Yeah, it's to feed 10 people or to clothe them. Miskin, you know, to poor individuals.
Okay. Another question. You're going to like this one, Sheikh. Someone's asking here, can I have 10 wives as mut'ah?
You see, again, I've said this before, you have to use common sense with this regard. You might say, can I buy 10 houses? I want to use the 10 houses every day. You have to use common sense with these regards, even for the 4 wives. That Allah mentions in the Holy Quran, مثنى وثلاث ورباع, 4 wives. But Allah says at the end, ألا تعدلوا فواحد. If you can't be just, then keep it 1. Because to be oppressive on one of the wives, that's going to cause you trouble on the Day of Judgment. So one should use common sense with this regard and to fulfill his needs that he really is need of. Otherwise, the extra is extra. You know, even in the halal, one should have zuhud in some cases. You know, we've been encouraged to avoid the forbidden acts. That's correct. But also, in some cases, we have to also apply zuhud, even in some of the halal issues. You know, you can't be every day in a restaurant, or every, I don't know, a few days in one of the sweet shops. You have to have some kind of zuhud. You have to save this money. Sometimes you have people who are around you don't have even a clean cup of water in Africa, for example, or a piece of bread. Now in one of the war zone situations. So we have to use common sense with these regards, inshallah.
Fair. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna, Eid Mubarak. I want to ask you a question, since my friend wants to know. How is Ghadir al-Khum, Walaya of Imam Ali alayhi salam, an Eid? Why is it called Eid al-Ghadir? How is that an Eid?
Because this Eid was established by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was returning back from his last farewell, Hajjat al-Wada', and between Mecca and Medina there was an oasis. He stopped the Muslims and he gave a long sermon, maybe in hours, and then he raised the hand of Ali alayhi salam and he said, "Man kuntu mawlah fahadha Ali mawlah," that whoever I am the master of, Ali is his master, and he officially appointed Ali alayhi salam in that location. So all the companions and Sahaba who were there, they actually confessed and they gave bay'ah to Ali alayhi salam. So that became as a Eid for the Muslims, you know, all Muslims, not only the Shia of Ahlul Bayt. But of course, after the Prophet's departure, as the Quran says, انقلبتم على عقابكم, you deviated and fell on your back. In other words, somebody who falls on his back, they can't easily get up and go back. So it's a Eid, definitely one of the main 4 Eids as we have. If you go back to the books of fiqh and others, even the books of Ad'i, you'll find that the A'yad are 4: Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Jum'ah, or Eid al-Ghadir.
Okay. Question here from one of the viewers from YouTube. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I'm watching a film, I'm watching a movie, and in some of the scenes, there's someone playing chess. Do I need to take my eye off the TV? Do I need to close my eyes? Do I need to look away?
I think we have a narration I've read some time ago that when you see alcohol, or maybe even chess, then send la'na to Yazid, because Yazid used to play chess and drink alcohol, while the head of the grandson of Rasulullah, Imam Hussein salamullah, was in front of him. This vicious and evil man who claimed to be the Khalifa of Rasulullah, he butchered the sons of Rasulullah, the grandsons of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the day of Karbala in Ashura.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Is applying henna on the hands of a woman considered zina?
Yes, definitely. It is a zina, and the Quran says, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنْ. If they want to apply, they have to wear gloves and only can show it in front of their maharim, siblings, I don't know, brothers, sisters, I don't know, other females, and not in front of the men in the streets.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. If me and my non-Muslim friend went to a restaurant for food and drink, and he orders an alcoholic drink, what should I do? I can't tell him to put it away, or I can't just get up and leave?
Well, the best way is to explain to him from the beginning, before he orders, that listen, I can't join you on one dinner table where the alcohol is served and you're consuming that alcohol. I can't sit on that table. That's part of my religious beliefs and rulings. So, excuse me, I can't stay. If you want to drink, I can go. There's the next table, I can sit over there, and then you can consume. Take your time.
The best thing I say is that tell them that you're ex-alcoholic. If you wanna bring the Islam and you think that okay, maybe it won't improve relations, maybe they're gonna have a bad image of Islam and so forth, just say you're an ex-alcoholic, and trust me, they'll be very, very respectful and they'll understand. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum Sheikhna, are all the Imams equal?
You see, each Imam has their own, in terms of the fadila, who is the best, of course. The best of the creations is Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then comes Ali alayhi salam, then Fatima alayhi salam, then Imam Hassan Hussein, and all the way to Imam Mahdi Ajjallah Farajah Sharif. And of course, Imam al-Mahdi salamullah alayhi, according to some narrations, he comes after Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Yeah, straight.
From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum Sheikhna, is Eid al-Ghadir Salah wajib to perform? Thank you.
No, it's not wajib, it's mustahab.
Is it the same as the other Eid prayers?
According to Al-Shaz, yes, it is.
So it's not a special, specific one for Eid? For Eid al-Ghadir, it's the same?
There should be some salah. I'm sure if you go back to Mafatih al-Jinan, you'll find a'mal on the Ghadir.
Okay.
There's a ziyarah, there's a dua. There should be something mentioned.
I think it's from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum Sheikhna, did the Ahlul Bayt recite Nasheeds Mawal with clapping?
You see, in terms of, in overall the rituals, be it the sad occasions or the happy occasions, I mean, the same questions asked. Did Ahlul Bayt formed a majlis with latum, with no, topless for the men, for example, without any clothing, or zanjir, for example, or taman, all these things. You see, the rituals of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, the sha'ar Allah Azza wa Jalla overall, would not be something sticks to one, let's say, duration or era. For example, when Imam Hussein was martyred, we had just a qabr, a grave with clay, and written on it, this is the grave of Hussein who was killed in Karbala, written by Musajjad alayhi salam. But now we see there's a golden dome, there's the two minarets, and golden as well. We see the darih is silver. It wasn't in the time of Ahlul Bayt in this way. It was could be just a wooden box, maybe, a small, let's say, small haram, very small, maybe a very small room, let's say. It wasn't like this. So these are fiqhiyan, they develop and progress in terms of, as we now, let's say, giving speeches and lectures over the internet, satellite channels, through the speakers. It wasn't the time of Rasulullah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never used a speaker or microphone or a camera. So these are technologies that develop, which is of course natural in terms of the human kind when they reach a certain knowledge, and it continues. So these are all allowed.
From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum Sheikhna. We live in London. How can we buy an animal for Aqiqah for our children? Jazakallah khair. There's many charities out there that you can go online, including Imam Hussein charity. Over there you can select for the Qurban, you can select the biha for sadaqah, Aqiqah, even if it's a nadhr or an oath or a kafara. There's an option there. Visit www.imamhussaincharity.com and you'll be able to find everything on the website. Final question for this evening, Sheikhna, and it is from YouTube. Why did the Prophet ﷺ die in Aisha's room, apparently with Aisha?
What is the evidence that he died in Aisha's room? This is the Sunni source and not the Shia source. This is number one. Number two, who said that he died? Because they say he died on Aisha's chest. بين سحري ونحري. That's the narration. Aisha says he died on my chest, between my neck and my chest. That area, Sahari and Nahari, where we see in Ahlul Bayt's narrations that he died on the chest of Imam Ali alayhi salam, the Imam's lap. and not to do with Aisha at all, nothing to do with her. So these are conflicting narrations. Which is accurate, which is the correct? Of course, you have to apply all the rulings of the hadith, of the chain of narrators, ilm rijal, ilm al-hadith, to be able to find the correct narration.
Ahsan. Thank you very much, Sheikhna. And thank you to all the viewers for joining us on this episode of Ahkam SOS. If I didn't answer your question, I do apologize. We had a lot of questions coming in. However, please enjoy the rest of your Eid evening, inshallah, wherever you are, and remember us in your du'as. On Wednesday, it will be our final episode of Ahkam SOS for this season. So please join us then with your questions. It will be our final episode, and then we'll be breaking for the Muharram season, inshallah. So until then, take care. We'll see you on Wednesday, 7 p.m. here on Imam Hussein TV 3. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Ali and her 3 children live in this, I could literally say, 3 by 2 meter room. It is morning, afternoons, evenings, her day off, when she goes to work, when she cleans, when she cooks, when she changes the kids, everything takes place in this room.
والله شو أقول لك بحياتي؟ حياتي أول واحدة تعبانة، وأنا لي 5 سنوات أنا من تطلقت، ها؟ بعد هذا ابني بلم هذا من انفصلت. ظليت عشي تشتغل بالغواطي حتى يدري بي يا أبا دائما أشتغل دواير.
Ali, a young age, he had asthma, and Ali says that she would buy the medication before, but now she cannot afford it. So she only leaves it to emergency cases where he'll be hospitalized. Ali has very little. However, she has a lot of faith. She's still a strong believer, and she has hope. Let's work together, where your donations will give a lot of hope to Ali, where she can provide for her young Ali, to have medication for him, ensure that these girls will have the right education, and ensure that she can provide for her mum, stay longer hours with her mum, which is physically disabled.
Make your impact today. Elevate the lives of your brothers and sisters. Donate now.
More than 3,000 members of the Shia Hazara community have been killed since September 2011, according to reports.
Hundreds of Iraqi pilgrims arrive at the house of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi.
On Saturday, the Saudi authorities executed 21 people on other charges.
Taliban abusing humanitarian aid in Afghanistan.
Shia Rights Watch expresses its condemnation on the targeted bombings in the Iraqi capital Baghdad.
There is so much happening that now is the right moment to bring together the biggest stories in one place at one time. It's ambitious, it's a first for the Shia around the world. Join me, Ayoub Nueno, for Shia Waves, live only on Imam Hussein TV 3.
With more and more victims of war and poverty, the Middle East has seen a surge in patients seeking medical aid. Iraq alone has 2.4 million people without access to any form of medical assistance. In Afghanistan, due to the lack of funding and devastating conflict, the health service is at breaking point. Imam Hussein Charity aims to help provide a better future for these impoverished patients, aiding them with finances for their prescriptions as well as dialysis of their kidneys. You can help our brothers and sisters with purchases of prescriptions for just £20, and for £200 help a patient with a dialysis procedure. To donate or for more information, visit www.imamhusseincharity.com.
Allah